There's something here about pray, stay, say is about authenticity, reality, caring, loving, listening, and at the same time, believing that the one thing that you can offer that is the pinnacle of everything is the good news about the death and resurrection of Christ, which gives eternal hope beyond the grave. That gap, those who can cross it don't have to force themselves to be authentic. You listen to those two chatting away there. They're authentic. They're the real deal. But it won't be enough only to be the real deal if you don't cross that threshold and speak of Christ crucified. And that's what must set us apart distinctively.
All right. So you wrap this up for us then, Danno. You're right. It's what must set us apart, but it's still really hard to do, isn't it? It's hard to make that transition. What have you learned from the past? Now, you're a little older than me, but how do you go about? You are. I know you. That's no. But how do you go about it? Have you got a way of doing it? Have you got kind of a top tip? How do you do this? How share? Help us.
Well, you know the old school Christians in sport thing, don't you? You know it. You know, we'll say we capture this whole thing about being genuinely interested in people by pray, play, say, normally, right? So you've got to stay in people's lives as it is now. You've got to be the real deal. You've got to be authentic. You've got to care. You've got to ask questions and really want the answer. I thought Sophie was good on that. You've got to really want the answer. You're not just asking to go somewhere or to suck up to them or something. You want the answer. Right. I think what we've learned, and you did this earlier, we like to say your story. Always be interested in somebody's story, not your own. You know, wind your neck in. Ask about them. What's your story today? What's going on in your life? Show interest. Not always, but often somebody will want my story. And what about you, Danno? How's it with you? Here's for me the great thing. Your story, my story, is genuine, staying in people's lives. There's a little leap to his story, your story, my story, his story. It's making that leap for me that I'd love to hear people discussing how you do all of it.
I like that. I like that. Your story, my story, his story. Is that how you leave it, or do you try and move that on a little bit, or is that it?
Oh, well, I think I've heard it 3 or 4 times already in the conversations here. You know, I suppose I'm pulling it together in my own mind now for a discussion.
Yeah.
All right. What day is it? Monday, yesterday. So we go for our, a loud walk up the common.
Yeah.
So I bumped into an old mucker of mine, Johnny, right? Johnny, Danno, 6 feet, keep your broomstick in between you, distancing. Hiya, Johnny, listen to this, Langs. How's it going, man? How's the weekend been in lockdown? Weird? Oh, I said, to be fair, this is your story, right? Oh, no, good, man. What do you get up to Saturday then, Johnny? Went to see, I saw the grandchildren on Zoom, had a great chat with them, talked to my parents, can't go and see them. Lovely day, beautiful day. Great. Wish I could see them. Fair play. What do you do Sunday? This was yesterday. What do you do in the morning? Oh, good, man. Had let's see, he said, I had a bit of a lie-in, and then made a few more Zoom calls and that to family members and friends. And then I'm going for a walk. Hey, what about you, Danno? My story. Oh, nice. Same for me, grandchildren, family, Saturday, Sunday. Today, had a lie-in as well. Old, aren't we? Went to church. Oh, Johnny, you had a great talk about being secure in an insecure world. Blimey. Does this strike you insecure, this is, John? Oh, you're not wrong, Danno. Have you ever been to church, John? No, not for about 20 years, mate. Went 3 or 4 times when I lived in Peterborough with a mate of mine. Was it good? Question. What did your wife think of it? Question. Dun, 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 dun. We went for about 5 minutes, and then I could tell his eyes glazed over. He was just on the edge of going, I don't want to talk about it anymore. So I go, there we are. Very interesting. Well, anyway, I walk here in the afternoons, might bump into you the rest of the week. All the best, mate. Bye. Yeah, all the best, Danno. Go well. Your story, my story. Point to his story. Look to point to Christ. Be good at being normal. Ordinary life. But don't avoid asking, when he asks about my story, throw something in that points to somebody bigger than you, and then ask a question. Say something about Jesus, ask a question. Follow the fork in the road by being normal. Ask more questions. Love it. I love it. If we got better at that, we'd change the world for Christ. Because it's not about clever or eloquence or brilliance, Lanks. It's not. We're living evidence, you and me. And so are our guests. And so is Phil Williams. It's about pointing to Christ and him crucified in the most foolish way and being willing to look a bit of a muppet. No one does think you are, though, because they think you're a good guy. That's what happened, you see, because you stay in the rules.
Exactly.
Love it.
Yeah, I love that. Super helpful. And you've got to be brave as well, haven't you? You've got then to cross that pain line in
you do.
To be brave and go, come on, this matters, and be intentional with it.